I've just been around my friends and I was doing a jigsaw puzzle with her son. So let me just show you this. So got kidneys in jars and ears. It's called Beastly Body Bits, the Jigsaw. And then you've got like sort of bits of stomach and nasty looking instruments there. Then if we go down, let's pull out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. I hope this is clear enough. There we go. So you can see the whole picture. There we go. Now, I just want to go over this. Right, brain bending puzzle. So there's an order because it's in capitals. It says on the bottom, science with the squishy bits in pieces includes Looney Leaflet. Do you remember we used to watch Looney Tunes? That's what made us all go a bit berserk. So this is really fascinating. There's this strange character here. And from the hair initially and the cuffs, it looks like a woman. But then if you go in a bit closer, she's obviously got, I don't know whether those are supposed to be spots or a beard coming through. You've got jars of eyes and thumbs and fingers at the back. And then she's pulling a switch to electrocute him. They've got nails, electrocution, teeth, liver, vile bile. Yes, squelch. And then you've got false teeth there and other bits of teeth and a needle and thread like she'll sew you up. And you've got a feather and a knife and a pencil. We'd better buzz off. So the flies are even wanting to buzz off because I don't think it's because I've a spider juicy meal waiting. I think it's because everything's too disgusting. There's another knife hidden there. This horrible chain. Why is this person chained to the thing? You know, things to pull out teeth with, really painful and agonizing, and then biscuits and the blue and white there, stripes. You know, it's all very interesting. Small intestines plop, large intestines squeeze. Look, and I mean, you can even see chocolate brown poo desperately trying to get out of there because we're all so constipated. Then there's some tacks, but then the bit I don't really, and look, and then skin, and you go in and it says spot, bug, hair, sweat gland. You know, it's all a bit creepy. It's really, really creepy, actually. And then look at the dog collar with spikes on, and it looks like he's actually pooing out a bit of intestine and an apple core and a bloody finger. And the cat saying, I'm off. I can't bear to be around here anymore. And the mouse is angry. Grrr. And then pump. And again, this business with pumping hearts, they don't pump. It's a back and forth flow, yeah, to bring us into balance. And then you've got brainstem, cerebellum, etc. in the brain. Now, when we pull out again, it says, where is it? So it's trying to tell us that this is some sort of monster that this person's working. And again, I can't tell if it's male or female, or is that just the point? We don't know. And yet, look, this monster has blood pouring out where she's chopped his hand off. And then it's interesting, look at the kidney. Right kidney, left kidney. And it is, if you're facing them, you know, if you're standing behind them holding them like that person is, then the left kidney is on the left and the right is on the right. But now that's deliberately swayed you now that your right and your left are back to front. And is this not deliberate? How many kids take ages to get their left and right? Because again, they're showing it to us in the wrong way. And then they mention the bladder and then it says drip of wee. A drip of wee. So is that telling us that that we shouldn't do long wees, that we should only do tinies? And then, of course, he's got his Y fronts on, and we know what the Y represents, goat's head, the whole shebang thing. And then we look at this poor thing, and he looks like, you know, he's got brain things and electric odour coffin, and you can't see there's actually a skull on the top of that bottle on the actual jigsaw. And then these are your lungs, and it's saying wheeze, you know, because your lungs are damaged and all the rest of it. This is not about health or anything. And then this thing's got a plaster on, and yet this so-called monster that she's working on, or I think or whoever this person is, has real skin and has real body parts. And yet look at the head. They've made us look at the head and think, oh, this isn't a real person. You know, this is hinting to me of cannibalism, of all sorts of things. And we're telling you have beastly body bits. And we wonder why kids grow up with, you know, aspirations that they're not good enough and, you know, they're too fat or they're too thin or they're too whatever. This is not a nice jigsaw puzzle at all. And when we were putting it together, you know, I joked about it and talked to my little friend's boy about all of this. and made it fun and interesting. But this is actually really not nice. This might as well be, you know, what are they called? Dr. Watson and, you know, Jekyll and Hyde. This is again about the monster. So is it a monster or is it an AI, or is this our child, or I mean, or what? This is creepy as hell. And I don't, you know, and there's even like a swirly there. Looks like a pedo sign. I mean, I'm sure if I looked at it from a much harder and much deeper, I would find even more. Hang on, let me just get the pamphlet out. So this really worries me. You know, why are we not making jigsaw puzzles of pictures of our family at Christmas, or a lovely holiday that we went on, or something enjoyable as a memory? I remember when I had puzzles when I was little, my mum used to get me beautiful ones with fairies, or you know, like great big scenes of all sorts of things. Right, hang on, let me just turn this. Can I turn this round? I don't know. Sorry, I'm not able to turn it. Am I able to turn it the other way? No. So anyway, I just wanted to look at the paperwork of this and just have a little look about what this actually says, because I just find this incredibly worrying. You know, so body. Oh, here we go. Oh, no, I knew I was right. I hadn't even looked at this bloody pamphlet. So this comes with it. Beastly body bits. Spare parts. Now, how can any of those bits be spares? Unless you take them from someone else. So they're not really spares. So that's a bit worrying. And again, I think it is supposed to be a man. I am the one and only madly famous, famously mad scientist, Baron Frankenstein. You know, why are we introducing Frankenstein to kids? I have a big collection of body bits from which I have created the monster. Ah, long nights have I toiled, and with terrible trouble. It was like putting together a very complicated jigsaw, but I had to start with the middle bits inside of the outside edge, the skin. Ugh. I had to make sure that I put all the pieces in the right places and didn't forget any vital parts of my creation, or else my creation wouldn't come alive. I made a mistake. I would have to cut the body open and take a few bits out in order to fit the missing bit in its place, in its proper place. And that's worrying. Blood, bones and body bits. I poked, prodded and peered inside the monster to check if this body bits are working properly, and here's what I found. Bulging brain. The brain needs energy from the sugar and oxygen carried in the blood, so it sucks in about 750 ml of red stuff every minute. So do they mean blood by that? What do they mean? All this hot blood gives out lots of heat. That's why the monster's brain is the hottest part of his body. Some people say fresh brains smell of blue cheese, but all I can smell is a sickening stink. Well, that's worrying. So now we're all wanting to try brains because they might taste like blue cheese. Cerebellum. This deals with things the monster does without having to think too much, such as walking and picking his nose. Foolish boy. So now they're saying pick your nose. It's horrible. Cerebrum. This is where the monster does his thinking mainly about food. Special areas deal with seeing, hearing, speaking, etc. Brainstem. Not as glamorous as the high-profile cerebrum, but the brainstem is just as important. It looks after the monster's body vitals, but boring jobs such as breathing and sleeping. Yeah, because breathing and sleeping are really boring. You know, can't have them without life. Brainstem controls the boring but vital jobs. Cerebrum controls body actions that can be done without the brain planning them, like riding a bike, but not brainless body. Sorry, it's hard to read. Body behaviour, like making rude noises to show off. See, and then they want you to make rude noises. Cerebrum, body movements and vital sensory data processing such as vision and sound detection. It's designed to solve problems, store data in the memory. So this is giving you a little bit of information about stuff, but not in a beautiful way, not in a way that a Santos actually would talk about it and what's connected to everything and what it means on a spiritual level, etc., etc. And then it's talking about leaky lungs and wheezing. Well, that's very appropriate with what everything's going on. Everyone's drowning, their lungs are drowning from all those bloody disgusting mucus from their food. Heaving heart, squirted by his heaving heart, the monster's blood whizzes around a few of his body's 100,000 kilometers of blood vessels. Every year, the monster's heart pumps enough blood to fill 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Very interesting. It's all about blood again, all this adrenochrome, etc. Sweaty skin. Let's inspect the monster's skin, which is covered in bacteria. So it's a germ walking out. Bacteria is good. Just 1 centimetre of skin have 100,000 of the slimy little life forms. The outer skin is dead cells and weighs over 2 kilograms. But underneath there are nerve endings to sense temperature, touch and pain. That puddle bubbling up from a hole is sweat seeping from a sweat pore. The monster can ooze up to 10 litres of stinky sweat in 24 hours. No wonder he smells. And now what has it done? It's made kids really conscious that they might smell. And now they're going to wash more. There was a case of a little boy kept spraying that awful Lynx. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that word. Some awful deodorant all over him and really panicking that he smells. And don't get me wrong, kids, when you hit about 13, 12, 13, 14 and you hit puberty, you are going to smell because your hormones are changing. It's not because you're dirty. That's just part of it. A big change going on. And then these poor kids are spraying themselves with all these scents and all these covers up so they can't recognise the people they're supposed to be with. And they're filling their poor pores. And this boy apparently would cover his whole body with this deodorant. And as he came out of the bathroom, he stood at the top of the stairs, fell down the stairs, and he was dead. Because his skin couldn't breathe. He'd covered it all up. Sick stomach. The monster's stomach is churning and squishing his food. Let's see what he's been eating. Not eyeballs for breakfast again. You know, I mean, this is all really nasty. Small intestine. What's it going to say about that? I squeezed a small camera into the small intestine, which is a foolish name as it's not small. It's actually a giant gut canal. Apparently works like a sort of factory conveyor belt, except that it's not making stuff. It's taking food apart time for some refreshment things. Lively liver. Something busy inside the monster's body. The liver churns out everything from bile juice to help digest food to vital enzymes. What's more, the liver is equipped with an amazing automatic... That's about the only intelligent one there. Kidneys, such as... And let spare water, unwanted chemicals and waste material escape. If not enough water passes through the kidneys, the waste from agonising, painful stones. The monster's kidney... filter over. So they're not really talking about a monster, they're really talking about us. But we could have done this in a much more nice way with that thing. And then I just want to read you this. We get to the end and it's all about bloody body snatching. It sounds too gruesome to be true, but 200 years ago, yeah, what not still now, there was a serious shortage of bodies to cut up for medical research, so people used to steal them. Where have you heard this from recently? In many countries, this grisly practice was against the law, which was a grave problem because scientists could only probe the secrets of the human body by dissecting, cutting up dead bodies. In desperation, sometimes scientists turned to crime. Sorry, you don't do a crime out of desperation. I mean, again, just mixing that in just makes me cross. Body snatchers were people who went about stealing bodies. They knew doctors would pay handsomely for a nice fresh corpse to cut up. Here's how they did it. Method run. Rob a grave. I'm just going to tell you that necrophiliac, being a necrophiliac, and you know what they do with dead bodies, it's vile, that can often still be termed in law as grave robbing. Grave robbing. Yeah? Minimum sentence for that is ridiculous. Something like a month, 2 months, 3 months. Wake up, people. This was done in both Britain and America. The 19th century snatchers would go to a graveyard at night and dig up the body, put it in the sack and scarper. And so let's just think about this. So could you trust burying your loved ones? No, because you're supposed to do it on our own land and put a tree on top of them so we know that they're safe, so nobody did anything to them after they died. Steal a body. Andreas Vesalius, 1514 to 1560, was a famous scientist living in the old town of Louvain in Belgium. He used to wait until dark and then go to the nearby place of execution and remove the corpses of any criminals he could find. He would cut up the bodies and hide bits of them under his cloak. Then he would probe the grisly innards late into the night. Vesalius was determined to go to any lengths go to any lengths to solve the mysteries of how the human body worked. The appalling methods he used were the only way to get any answers. You'll be pleased to know doctors no longer need to steal bodies to practice dissection. No, because we give them freely. Some people agree to allow their bodies to be cut up after they'd died to help train medical students. It's beyond. Just come on, guys. And then there's a bloodthirsty quiz as well. But, you know, this was just to give you some sort of idea of what this is all about, yeah? Because I just think it's all horrible. Really, really horrible. I think you can see me. And this is for children, 300 pieces. I don't think it said, I just think it says nobody under 36 months. But these things have effect on you. Look at that other horrible thing, operation, you know, and taking things out and getting buzzed if you hurt them. Again, this puts you off going to doctors, having surgery. You know, we've got to wake up. If we want jigsaws, let's make beautiful ones of holidays that we've had or lovely memories, you know, of our pets. You know, have a lovely picture of each of the pets that you've had and make lovely puzzles out of them. And years ago, a lovely boyfriend I used to buy me lovely puzzles that were even turned into clocks, or it ended up being a lovely picture. I've got a beautiful one of the planisphere. You know, and it glows in the dark. It's beautiful. And when it was finished, you stick it all together and you frame it, and you can have it on your wall. And it's something you've created and part of you. You know, that's a much nicer way of doing these things. So, guys, I think you need to start checking, what are your children watching on that bloody black box? What, you know, SpongeBob the other day was just disgusting. I'm seeing this now more and more, and I think it's because I don't have a telly. When I do see it, I find it really horrifying. And we're prepared to use this as the nanny in the room. And you know, Looney Tunes, look what Tom and Jerry did to all of us, made us violent, etc., etc. And it's true, it does. And all these games. So parents, just be a bit aware of what you're allowing. You know, initially, I can joke at that and think, oh, that's quite funny. But this is about Frankenstein. This is about stealing bodies. This is cannibalism. This is horrible, horrible stuff which children need not know about. Yeah? Okay, so I'll leave it on that note. But just check what you're, you know, and again, just because a children's book is a bestseller like Madonna's or various other so-called celebrities who've written books that really aren't very nice, which talk about all sorts of nasty, dark, horrible things. But have you read it before your child read it? I was brought up on Winnie the Pooh. You know where you are with Winnie the Pooh. And even that's got undercurrents. Everything has. But just be aware of what you're allowing your child to see. And you don't know that something in that jigsaw puzzle isn't going to let that child that I made it with tonight have a nightmare later. And then he's always going to be scared of toes, or he's always going to be scared of bones or something. Yeah, these are triggers. This is traumatizing children. So let's create really nice presents for our children, and totally individual, something that they'll remember forever. You know, back in the day, you got one big present from your family and it would be something that you could keep forever, not an inanimate teddy bear or a doll that doesn't have a heartbeat. You need to be given a pet hamster or a mouse or a kitten or a puppy as you get older, to learn to love something that's real and to understand life and death, and to naturally see the birds and the bees and what happens. So that's all I've got to say. I know I haven't stopped today. So lots of love to you all, and just be wary. Look at what you allow your children to see. Lots of love.